chair is like the spinning chair. Look. Okay, just kidding. Oh, hey, that was kind of cool though. Let me do that. Hey guys, welcome to another video. This is going to be another Idol Insider video. I am going to be doing a part 2 for variety shows. My first video, for those of you guys who might have not watched, it was my favorite variety show and my least favorite variety show. And you guys showed so much love. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I had really fun reading all your guys' comments, and like I said, I promised to make a video on the comments that you guys, or questions that you guys had about variety shows. So I tried to put together all of your questions into just one whole big chunk so that I could answer it for you guys. Hopefully I do answer all of your guys' questions. For those of the questions that I didn't answer, I'm so sorry. I tried my best, and yes. So let's get on with the video, but before we get on with the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and yeah, let's get with the video. Oh, and don't forget to turn on the post notification bell. Okay, so for the first question, it is, what is your opinion about punishments on variety shows or in variety shows? I personally think that, why is there punishments? I feel like there could be a variety show and it could be just as fun without punishments. But I do get it because it is like a fun factor, and it is like, it kind of does create momentum inside a variety show. But if I was personally like a PD or like a writer, I wouldn't do necessarily like punishments, or maybe I would do things that the fans asked. I really like the section where in Weekly Idol, there was like a section where the fans actually put in like requests. So I think that in that sort of thing, like, it could be kind of embarrassing, but then since the fans want it, I feel like that would be a better approach than actually doing a punishment, like hitting people with hammers or stuff. But I mean, if that would be a punishment or like a thing that the fans want to see, then I feel like that would be great, because then it's like a win-win situation, because the people who are actually watching the variety shows are going to be mostly the fans as well. So that is my personal take on it. Was the filming extremely busy, and did you have time to interact with other idols? If so, were you able to find anyone that you are still friends with today? I think that it depends on what type of variety show you are filming. There are variety shows where you don't get as much break time and it just goes on really fast, like a schedule. And there are some variety shows where they take breaks in between. And I think that one person that I still do keep in contact with would be JJCC's Eddy. We filmed Pops and Soul together. Originally, I filmed Pops and Soul, and then he ended up becoming like the MC, and then I came in as like a guest a couple of times. So I did create a friendship with him, and I am still friends with him till this day. And also we have a very crazy story about just what goes on and like how we know each other. I'm gonna actually leave that video on a link on the description box so you guys can watch that as well. It is a really, really interesting story. So for those of you guys who don't know the story about me and Eddy, I feel like you guys should watch the video after this video. As much as I enjoy watching variety shows, I wonder how much is scripted. So let me just stop that there and answer that. I think that it is definitely scripted. Like I said, it's going to be different for each and every variety show. But usually the writers would be like, okay, there is going to be this part and they're going to ask you to do this. You know, be prepared for a special talent that you have. Or they could be like, in this, you know, segment, the MC is going to ask you this. And usually there will be like a script for you. If they don't have a script, they just tell you in general, like, oh, during this time the MC is gonna ask you this, so don't forget to, you know, be prepared for the question, so that there's not gonna be like NGs while you're filming the variety show, because usually that just kind of breaks the momentum of a variety show. Usually, unless like the cameramen are like cutting off, you know, trying to change the cameras, it's best to not make as much NGs as you can, especially if you are a rookie. So they actually tell you to be prepared. And how much do idols prepare for variety show appearances? I feel like a lot of rookie idols prepare a lot. I remember like a little story time. Our members would like just have a day in practice where we would try to find special talents, and we would literally do the silliest things like that you could think of. Like, I don't know, like copy a air conditioner or like copy a book or something. I don't know, it's like we would think of random stuff that we would think would be funny, and then we would do it in front of our members, and then our members would be like, I don't know about that one. Or be like, okay, you know what? Work on that one. That one seems like it has potential. And I feel like for me, that's where my closer-Deanz came out, for those of you guys who saw in the first video. And yeah, I feel like that is something that you could kind of do. I feel like a lot of idols do prepare, but there are some idols who are like naturally just talented at doing everything. So one member would have an idea, and then the other member will be like better at it. So it'll be kind of like a win-win. And I think it's the best to kind of brainstorm within your group, because if you try thinking about it by yourself and try developing it by yourself, it might be difficult and you might not know if it's like a good, you know, special talent or like thing that you prepared. So we usually ask like the members to kind of give us a hand on that. And I'm wondering what your opinion is on the difference of the shows that K-pop artists appear on to promote and how artists are promoted in the West. I do definitely think that it is a little bit different. For example, in Korea, depending on like the group status, they will either film like a reality show on like Mnet or just like other TV broadcasting stations, or they'll go on like variety shows. And I think that there are more variety shows in Korea than the States. I feel like the type of variety shows are like the shows that are really popular are like talk shows in America and like, you know, radio shows. But I feel like for Korea, there's just so many things. There's like 아는 형님, there was Star King, there's Running Man, and there's just a lot more shows that I feel like a lot of idols can come on for like even like a quick short time period to promote their group for the comeback. So who gets to choose which member will go on the variety show? If not all members will go, is it the company and their entertainment of the group or the staff of the variety shows? How can the members volunteer other members? So usually my PR manager would tell me, would tell the group, hey, I'm gonna be going to, I don't know, meet the PD of Dream Team, like which of you guys think like is like the best at running, or like tell me your guys' talents, because the PR manager does know us to a certain extent, but he does want to know which member will be able to do the best. So for me, out of all my members, I was a little bit more on the athletic side, not that I'm like super athletic, but that is the reason why my PR manager kind of appealed to them. That we have a group, you know, like Lady, and she did track, she did soccer, and she's like pretty athletic, and I feel like she'll be a really good person for your show. And that's how you would kind of put in somebody. So it's different. Like, let's just say like if one member is really good at singing, the PR manager will go to like the Masked Singer and will be like, hey, we have a really good singer, like she's really good, and like, you know, you should put her on the show. So I think that depending on what your special talents are, the PR managers will be the ones that will actually be putting the members in the variety show. If you don't have a PR manager, sometimes like the staff will like contact the company, but that is pretty rare, especially if you are a rookie group. Like those chances are very, very low. So I do think that usually it's the PR managers who will have a say, or you know, will try their best to put certain members in certain variety shows that they think the members will be good at. And also, I remember seeing you on Star King. I wanted to know if filming variety shows were longer than filming something like ISAC. I definitely think that ISAC is the longest, and for those of you guys who don't know ISAC, it's Idol Star Athletics Competitions. Oh wow, that's so long. And like I said, it takes the whole day. And I think that other variety shows, it will be around like half the time. So I would say most of the time it's like 6 to 8 hours, depending. There are some variety shows that do film like for a shorter time period if they are like more scripted, since they know like what it is. But if they aren't that scripted and it's just like a overall kind of like a rough just draft of what they want to do, then it'll take a little bit longer to film. And also, the newer the variety shows, the longer it takes to film, because they want as much footage as they can to get, it's so, you film so much, but like only like 45 minutes or like 30 minutes goes out like of the variety show. I don't know. Idols seem to hate and afraid of punishments. Example, Chungyeon of Twice got hit on Weekly Idol. I do think that a lot of idols necessarily don't like punishments. I mean, there might be people who find that fun, but like I said, for me, I personally think that if it's like a thing that the fans want to see, then it's fine. But if it's just like a punishment that you have to do just for the sake of like losing something, I personally think that it's not as fun on the idol's perspective. Yeah. Was Kang Ho-dong as scary as they always joke about? Kang Ho-dong, I don't think he was scary at all, but I definitely, because I got to see like the behind the scenes and also on screen, and I do think that he meets so many people. So for me, like, it was my first time on Star King, and obviously like he sees a lot of rookies, he sees a lot of people who are top stars or like people who just debuted, and for me, he was like, oh, like, what group are you? And I'm like, Blady. And then he's like, oh, like, great. And then, like, you know, he would smile and he'd be like, oh, like, 열심히 해, promote well. And then I would just be like, whoa, he just talked to me. But I do think that he has a lot of manners despite the fact that he meets so many people. And one thing that I really have respect for is that he is very detailed. Like, you might not think he's detailed because there's just so many things that are going on, but he pays attention to everything. So I remember there was this one time where on the script I was supposed to talk about something, and I just couldn't go in because there were so many people talking. Like, Kwangi would be like talking, you know, and then there'll be like other idols like coming in to talk. So I really didn't get to say my part on the script. And I remember he would go back into it and he'd be like, oh, like, Tina, like, what do you think about this, this, this? So I think that he is very detailed because he knows that a lot of rookies don't get a lot of screen time, and that was something that was really touching to me, because for me, that was like my first variety show, and then the fact that like he was so mannerful and also like took that into consideration that I wasn't able to speak or like, you know, come in at the right timing. He definitely kind of cleared that out, which I personally thought that, okay, like, yeah, I get why he's like the national MC and a lot of people respect him for his work. So, are there special treatments for the top tier idols as compared to rookies? Of course. I think that this is more so like the writers and PDs. The MCs maybe too if they are like kind of close to the thing, but the writers and PDs are the ones that are actually writing the script in the end. So more than like the MC's control over like, you know, having like favorites, I feel like you do get more special treatment from the PDs or the writers, because most of the time the writers will be female and then they will kind of like fangirl over wow, is that too much tea? They kind of fangirl over like, you know, top idols, and then they'll give more of their favorite idols more screen time or like more parts in the script and like more questions that the MCs will ask. But I do think that you can't really stop that because they are top idols and fans are gonna be wanting to watch those top idols more than some of the rookies, and it is like true. Like, you can't hide the fact that they are more popular than the rookies and that they should get more screen time. So, I mean, yeah. So your favorite variety shows that you've never been to but would like to be in? I think that my favorite variety show that I would like to be on would be 아는 형님. I mean, like I can't anymore, but I feel like it's very fun because if you guys know the concept between 아는 형님, everybody will speak 반말 because you guys are friends in like a school setting. So I think that that kind of will be a little bit more comfortable. I don't know, maybe it might be like super uncomfortable trying to speak 반말 to everybody, but I feel like it'll be a more like a friendly atmosphere more than like an atmosphere where you're like, oh, 선배님, you know. And I think that, yeah, I personally really like 아는 형님 and all the people who are on it because they're just so good at what they do. So that is something that I would have wanted to be on if I was still promoting. Are the hosts warm and welcoming off camera? I do think that it depends on their condition. There are definitely some people, like I met a couple of like MCs who weren't feeling good. Like they tell you before, like I'm really not feeling good today, like let's try to, you know, finish filming fast, like I'm so sorry that like I'm not in the best condition. And I do think that it's respectful in a way because they let you know beforehand that they're not feeling good, so that's not how they are, or I don't know. That's the case of Seo Jang-un. Like when I was filming Yaman TV, he was like, I don't feel good today, like, and you know, like I wish that we can kind of like film a little bit faster, like I hope you guys understand. And then we were like, yes, like we got it. Like, so for us, the fact that we knew he wasn't feeling well made us more alert and wanted us to like try even harder. So I don't think that they're necessarily like super different off and on camera. I do think they're the same. The only thing that the difference would be that they talk more on camera, and then when the cameras are off, they're not talking as much. They'll like ask like little chit chat questions here and there, icebreaker questions, but other than that, like there's not much things. So do you think the concept of variety shows would ever work in America? I personally think that they'll do so well, but like I do think that would artists want to be on variety shows, like those type of variety shows, because it does take a lot of effort for variety shows. I don't know if American artists have time to be in a studio for like 8 hours or like 12 hours filming a variety show that only comes out for an hour. I don't think that a lot of American artists will do it. So if they have a better like time schedule of just the filming, maybe some artists will do it, but as of now, I think that variety shows in Korea just take so long to film that I don't think it will be... A lot of people won't want to do it in America, is my personal take on it. Okay. So kind of a weird question, but in variety shows like Weekly Idol, do you get to wear whatever you want or do stylists give you clothes to wear? This is like half-half. If your personal just like clothes are appropriate for like variety shows. So usually if you have clothes that are a little bit more flashy and like you wear it to your shop, your stylist will be like, oh, do you want to just wear that? Like it looks fine. I feel like it'll kind of match with whatever like your members are doing and like just like the whole vibe. And then I'll be like, okay, yeah, sure. And you can kind of like negotiate with your stylist, or you can send, if you really want to just wear your own outfit, you can send your stylist a picture of your outfit beforehand, and then they'll give you like a confirmation, like a yes, no, or like a go, and then they'll be like, okay, no, I'll actually change pants to these, or like I'll bring you pants for those. And you can kind of negotiate only when you're like kind of 2 years in, because when you're like a rookie, you really don't get a say in whatever you want to wear. So like you just have to wear whatever the stylist kind of gives you. But I think that after like 2 years, you do get a say in what you want to wear. And yeah, for me, like there would be times where I'll be like, oh, I like shoes, so I'll be like, can I wear these shoes with like this outfit? And then she'll be like, yeah, sure. So I would like bring my own shoes. Yeah, I think that it just kind of helps you express yourself in a way that you would like to, because usually the stylists are the ones that are kind of like controlling that. So What do you think about variety shows back in the day and now? I feel like people are more sensitive these days, so idol groups are not allowed to interact more often, which is such a shame because like fans could be missing out on a lot of good content. For example, there used to be like a lot of variety shows when SNSD, Girls' Generation, and 2PM would guest, and then they would kind of create romantic jokes, but I feel like we don't see that a lot these days. I definitely agree 100%. They're so different. yeah, I feel like especially like the love line matches, it's really hard now to do that. Long time ago, back in the day, there used to be like X-Men, 연애 편지, like love letter. For those of you guys who are like OG K-pop fans, it was kind of like love matching games, and it was so fun. Like I feel like that was, till this day, like my favorite variety shows to watch, like Korean variety shows. And then like as time passes by, I feel like it's became really difficult to kind of create those like romantic jokes or like have male and female like idol interactions. Wow, that was like very like, so I feel like it's definitely true, and it is a shame, and I don't think that it would be coming back to it anytime soon, only because I feel like fans these days are more protective over their idols, and there's just so many idols. I think that this is why. There's so many idols that if one idol is, you know, does something disappointing, like some fans will move to a different idol, which defeats the purpose of like being a fan. But there's just so many options of idols and like fans that could like move, and I've heard so many things about this. Like they'll be like, oh yeah, you know, like, and it's so crazy, like the fans that are like kind of like very aggressive, they'll tell them like, you know what, like we're gonna go to GOT7 now, or like, and they say stuff like that to you. Like I've heard a lot of my friends saying that. Yeah, they're like, oh, they were our fans, but then like she got mad, so she went on to like 17, or she went on to Stray Kids or something. And I was like, wow, like because you did what, you know? And then I was like, because I didn't say hi to her like when it was like outside. Like it's just, there's like little tiny things where I feel like it's just more sensitive these days. And I feel like in general, like just the society we live in, everything's just so sensitive. Even sometimes like things that I want to say on camera, I'm very careful of, because I'm not trying to target people or hurt people in any way, but I feel like sometimes like I have to be very careful, which is something that I should be very careful about. But are there any hard feelings after the show, either between members or hosts? I think that as long as you like know that whatever you're gonna do on the variety shows is meant for pure fun beforehand, it's perfectly fine. Me and my members would always say like, yo, what happens on variety shows is just for variety shows, like no hard feelings. And even if there is hard feelings, like the members would talk to like the other members and would be like, hey, you know, like on variety shows, I wish like you wouldn't kind of like do that, and then the next time around they will do that. But usually I never had like a member confront me about like them having hard feelings. I feel like it's kind of like a mutual thing, you know, that they were just doing it for the variety show. So do idols have break time during variety shows, and how can idols interact with other idols during break time? But it depends on what show it is. There are like little times when the cameramen are changing their like films, so like you get like 5-minute breaks, or like you can get restroom breaks, and you do get to talk to like idols. I remember especially for Dream Team, I would have like little chit chats with like different idols, you know, like I'd be like, oh yeah, like how's your comeback doing, or like, you know, like how's your promoting doing, and I would start like chit chat here and there. But I think that it's really hard to have like a full-on conversation, because you don't get that much time to talk. It's not like you're gonna be like, when the cameras are rolling, like, oh, like, hey, how's promotions, you know, like I really like that song. You can't do that. So I think that it's the variety shows that have more break time, you can kind of talk to it, but as of that, like, yeah. I'm curious as to know how genuine the laughs. I feel like they're forced to exaggerate and to get more screen time. Yeah, definitely true. There are times where I don't think something is funny, but I would have to laugh because everybody around me is laughing, and I don't want to have me like a RBF and like everyone's just like ha ha ha, and I'm just like, so sometimes I'll just be like, wow, you know, just like that, just like that. That's what happens. But I think that you get used to it, or like if there's something that's like happening that's like super crazy, you'd be like, oh, like, oh, 대박, you know. Yeah, I'm so over that. Like, just me doing that right now brought me back so much memories. That's all you guys are getting for today. Could you tell us what the general public's opinion on the show idols guest on? Can you get more exposure really? I mean, because I thought that not many people watch it anymore. Thanks for opening up about this. I do think that the general public doesn't watch TV as much anymore. It'll always just be like, you know, like the YouTube videos or like videos or like funny clips that come back. So I know that on like Naver and YouTube, they'll like the shows like 아는 형님 or like they'll have previews. So I think that people watch that more. So it depends. But in Korea, there's still a thing, an unsaid kind of rule that when you are promoting, you do have to go on variety shows. Either way, I mean, if you are like really popular and you know, over time, the artist feels like they don't need to go on variety shows. But I feel like with whatever variety show there is, the company will want to put their idols out. Despite them not getting the exposure that they might need, they still want to have at least some type of exposure, or, you know, to show the idols that they are doing their job as a company to promote them in a certain way is what I think is true. And then we are going on with our last question. I'm actually curious about how promotions work. With all the variety shows and performances, do groups go on variety shows before or after shows? Or are the shows scheduled on the days you are not performing? Or do you go on variety shows way before comebacks and debuts? Most of the time, if you film a variety show, it'll be played or it'll air 2 to 3 weeks later, depending on their schedule. Usually it's 2 weeks, but there are some variety shows that film like 3 weeks ahead in schedule. So that's why most of the time, if they are trying to kind of target a certain time period, you would film the variety shows before the comeback. Like I guess like a week or two before the comeback. So actually, before like the comeback starts, you are doing variety shows for some places before the comeback, so that when it airs, it is right in sync with just their good comeback timing. All the shows are kind of booked already, then you would have to film at a later time. So let's just say, for example, your group is going to be having a comeback February 12th. Most of the times, your PR managers or your managers will start going around in January and be letting music show programs know, variety show programs know that you are going to be making a comeback. So for example, they'll go to 인기가요, Music Bank, and every place and be like, okay, we're going to be having a comeback February 12th, so can you guys book us for like the variety shows or music show programs? From then, they'll have like a schedule of when they're going to be coming out. The variety shows I'd be filming on a Thursday, but Thursdays are Mnet, so you would have to kind of have like a right timing, like either that you would kind of like pre-record for the Mnet M Countdown, and then you would kind of be doing like a recording of the actual variety show. So I feel like this is when it becomes really chaotic for the managers, because the managers are going to be having to kind of mix and match different times and schedules. And that's when it becomes really hectic, because you're balancing variety shows, music show programs, social media platform, like, you know, promotions and like promoting things like Relive or like, I don't know, going on. So it's just like a bunch of things all in one. And I feel like that's just the part that is really difficult for the PR managers. So from 1 to 2, we would actually be at like a radio, and then we'll have like an hour to eat, and then from like 3:30 to like 4, we'll be doing like another variety show, and then that would kind of end. I don't know, but it'll be like the quick variety shows where it's very like scripted, so you're only gonna be doing that for like an hour. I think it was like something for Arirang, I don't know what corner it was. And then right after that finishes, we would book it to a music show program. It was just so chaotic. So usually what they like to do is, if it's going to be like Mnet on one day, like M Countdown on one day, they'll try to do everything that they could do in Mnet as possible. Does that make sense? So let's just say you're going to M Countdown, they would try to do M Countdown, and what other shows are on Mnet? other variety shows that are at Mnet, or everything in like one building. Or if you're gonna go to KBS, they would try to do a KBS radio, and then they would do like a KBS music show program, like all in one day if they can, so that they could save time. And I think that that is something that the managers are in charge of. But yes, I hope that was a juicy video. It went by so fast. I love these Idol Insider videos because they go by so fast. And thank you guys for listening. I know it's a long video. I try my best to really just pick out the questions that are the most interesting and that are the most asked. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know it's a long video, but you guys mean so much to me. And I love you guys. Bye. That was a cute kiss. Bye.